I'm pleased to recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Fong, for 1 minute to provide a brief opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Smith and the entire Ways and Means Committee for having me here in my home state of California. It's an honor to be here at the Reagan Library in Simi Valley as we hear directly from local business owners on how the One Big Beautiful Bill will support our farmers, our ranchers, and our small businesses. By making the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanent, this bill delivers a historic tax cut to Central Valley farmers and families, an area that I'm proud to represent. Relief of over $3,000 a year, and locks in the 20% small business deduction, benefiting nearly 42,000 local businesses in my community. It also restores full expensing for business investments, driving economic growth. For my agricultural community and our state's agriculture community, this bill makes the death tax exemption permanent, helping over 3,200 family farms and ranches in my community stay in the family. It also invests $1 billion in critical water infrastructure like canals, reservoirs, and groundwater recharge to support drought-stricken areas and regions right here in California. And by expanding trade and crop programs, it ensures long-term support for the Valley's world-class farmers. Simply put, this bill builds a stronger economy, a competitive workforce, and a more affordable future for California and our nation. As someone who represents the food production capital of California, this bill is no doubt a positive and necessary thing for our agricultural community. My region is just 1% of the total farmland in our country. We produce a quarter of our country's food. My region grows over 250 different crops. We're 40% of the nation's fruits, nuts, and vegetables. We produce dairy, grapes, cattle, lettuce, almonds, pistachios, strawberries, tomatoes, carrots. So for those who go to the grocery store, I would like everyone to thank the farmers and ranchers in my community that produce the food that we all enjoy. Mr. Kester, thank you for what you do to grow cattle in our community and across the country. I was wondering if you could talk about how lifting the financial burden that this bill does allows you to empower yourself and your family to reinvest in your ranch, and whether it's buying a new tractor or any other equipment. What does it mean in your operation to allow you to produce the food that we enjoy?
Oh, it means everything. We were hamstrung in our operations for more than a decade because of having to pay the federal government death tax liabilities over that period of time. And so now that having bonus depreciation and the increase in Section 179 deductions, it means everything for us being able to have the capital to stay in reserve and not have to pay for taxes, to use it for investing in our communities. It vibrates all the way through our economy with equipment manufacturers, feed stores, retails, and so it's vastly important. And I'd like just to say real quickly, for high retail beef prices, it has nothing to do with tariffs. It's simply a supply and demand issue. And we have the lowest beef herd since 1961 here in the U.S. Consumer demand, even at the high retail prices, U.S. consumer demand hasn't dropped one iota, to my happy surprise, and it's because of the quality of beef here in the U.S. So it's not related to tariffs or anything else. It's simple supply and demand, and we just need to grow our beef herd a little bit more.
Thank you for that. You read my mind. I was going to ask you to address the beef price issue. I think you and I had that conversation earlier. And so I think this is important to emphasize that when we talk about supporting our farmers and ranchers, this bill is a huge step forward. And I can say, as someone who represents the food producers in California, that's why this bill is so important and why it had to be done. To Mr. Fulton, as someone who represents an area also that has been dealing with catastrophic wildfires, and of course, as you mentioned before, our entire state is in a year-round fire season. I read about the technology that you're investing in to help our state meet the demands and to combat wildfires. something that's top of mind. I think it shows, again, a real-world example of how this bill allows for this research and development and expensing for companies like yours to actually have meaningful impacts to the safety of our communities. Could you talk about how the R&D expensing and how it allows you to accelerate technological innovation within aerospace or within the research you're doing to innovate and develop new technologies and new capabilities?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Absolutely, very excited about this capability. We are going to be able to have predictability, and with that predictability comes accelerated advancement and accelerated economic inputs. And for us, and for our suppliers, which I mentioned earlier, are all throughout California, we are able to really take hold and grasp that and then expense those R&D expenses for the new RD8 that I mentioned, right? And we can do that faster. And when we do that faster, we're going to buy more machining. When we buy more machining, we're going to hire more workers. And we're going to continue to expand that footprint. But more importantly, it's actually going to go to serve the community. So that new helicopter with those drones are going to be able to go out with one person on board to actually find ignition, points of ignition faster. And we think that's really important. We are in Los Angeles County. We were impacted by the fires. Our workers were impacted by the recent fires. They see the need for this enhancement, and they see the need to do it 100% in the U.S. And once again, I like to circle around to the fact that our factories are really the closest thing that you will see, we believe, to a modernized World War II factory that exists in our nation. We take raw material and we turn it into aircraft and flying vehicles. The advancement of R&D expensing allows us to do that much faster, better, and cheaper.
Sure.
Quite frankly, we just get more bang for our buck.
Thank you. I've run out of time, but I just want to thank you for the testimony. But when you go to the grocery store or you see those helicopters that are fighting the wildfires in our state, in our community, they're benefited by the bill and the benefits of what we've done. So thank you, and I yield back.